don't let my small height fool you. I'm talking Giants. I'm talking the New York Giants, the third team in the series, talking about what teams need to do to get better for next year. Okay. And the Giants are in a really peculiar situation because last year, the emergence of Malik Neighbors was fantastic. Okay. You've got a stud wide receiver one. A lot of teams don't have that. You can see who I like. We don't have one. No offense to the guys on our team. The Giants do. But the Giants don't have a quarterback to get him the ball, and they don't have an offensive line to stop people getting to that quarterback to then get him the ball. So looking at the Giants, what are the three things I think they need to do to really help? Okay. Now, the Giants are at number 3. They're picking at number 3. And there's a situation where someone might leapfrog them to get maybe one of those two quarterbacks. There's Shedeur Sanders and there's Cam Ward. But if there was a situation where both are on the board, who would you take? That's my attitude. And I think Sanders will be that guy. Now, Cam Ward is probably a little bit more athletic, so you can get away from pass rush better. Shedeur is a lot more, in my opinion, accurate. It's the things that separate them. And I think Shedeur is better for that side of things. So I would take Shedeur Sanders. That's my number 1. I don't think there's a ton between him and Cam Ward, so you'd be right either way to pick either of them, in my opinion. Unlike last year, where there's a bevy of quarterbacks who I even think these two guys might fall behind minimum 3 of those guys drafted last year. Potentially, actually, I would say even more. Maybe even 4, 5, even maybe all 6 that were drafted in the first round last year. But I would take Shedeur as my first thing that I would do. When I look at this team, okay, you've obviously got a high second round pick, okay? Could you get back maybe into the first round? Maybe trade away, some later round picks potentially if you want to get another receiver in that regard. But for me, stand pat, get some offensive linemen in the draft. What could you do in free agency as well? When I was looking at the last season, Daniel Jones was sacked 29 times in 10 games. And Daniel Jones is fairly athletic. Maybe he held the ball for a little bit too long. I would agree. I'm not going to deny that whatsoever. But that is a case that he got sacked 3 times a game. You factor in then all the hurries and hits and things like that. It's not great. Now, the Giants have the 13th most cap space going into next year, 47 million. They can free up even more, to be honest. I would expect them to free up more. There's an easy way they could get about another 20 million without really getting rid of anyone of any real note. Having about 65 million-ish would be quite a large amount for salary cap wise. Obviously, my team have the most for next year. So next video, when you look at the Patriots, we're going to be in for an absolute roller coaster of one when I say we should be spending X, Y, and Z. But, looking at the free agents for this year, Darius Slayton, maybe if you get him on a cheaper deal, maybe comes back. Azeez Ojulari, maybe on a cheaper deal. But obviously being at 25, he's going to want to try and hit the payday market. The rest of the people on the list, there's no one really leaping out right this second. Isaiah Simmons, again, it'll be all about value when it comes to that side of things. Looking at really then the free agent market, they need offensive line help like crazy. Ronnie Stanley, I think he wants a 3-year deal, 65 million. I'm all over that. If I'm the Giants, give him the money, get the left tackle for a few years, working with, obviously, Shedeur in my world. So Ronnie Stanley, absolute shout there for me. When you look at then the rest of the team, to be honest, I would then spend even more money at the offensive line because I think, I'm going to be real, I think it sucks. I think their offensive line work was crap last year. So I would look at that, Kevin Zeitler for a season, maybe. He's a bit older, so I'm not sure if you want to do Stanley as well as a Zeitler. That's maybe not the play. Trey Smith, I think he's gonna demand big money, and I'm not sure the Giants are the right team for that. Drew Dorman from the Atlanta Falcons, Tevin Jenkins from the Bears, maybe. But then also, I think the Giants need some secondary help as well. So, as much as I think Sanders Stanley maybe is the play there. They need some secondary help. You know, will they go Byron Murphy, Asante Samuel? Maybe so. Adebo from the New Orleans could be a shout, knowing that they're probably not going to be retaining him, knowing the Saints' situation. Because the thing is with the Giants, up front, you know, they can get after the quarterback. It's they can't hold up in the back end to help these guys get that extra second to get more. Will they go DJ Reed from the Jets? Javon Evans at safety? So I think Sanders is number one for me. That's the first thing they should do. I think Ronnie Stanley, give the left tackles. If you get a left tackle who's dominant, if you look at the 49ers, offensive line hasn't been great, but obviously they got Trent Williams. It just means you forget about one whole area. You know, even with, you know, chipping and doubles, you don't have to. Just leave Trent Williams on an island on his own. He'll deal with it. You then deal with the other guys in that line. You've got neighbors. If you've then drafting Sanders, you get Stanley. It's going to have the ability then to get him the ball. I would then look at the secondary, and if Javon Evans is there, not Javon Evans, Javon Holland, if he's there, maybe, or DJ Reed. I'll go DJ Reed. If they can get him on a decent deal where it's not crazy, because I don't think they're going to get Zach Bond from Philadelphia. I think he'll stay in Philly. I think I would go DJ Reed from the Jets. So Sanders, get him drafted with 3rd overall pick. Get Stanley signed through free agency for a few years, and get DJ Reed as well. Let me know your thoughts on the Giants down below. I'll see you next time for the Patriots. Peace.